Today, we're going to talk about Bitcoin and we're going to be looking at the percentage drawdown from the all-time high. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. So we're going to keep this one relatively short and sweet. I just think that looking at the percent drawdown from the all-time high is useful for Bitcoin to sort of get an idea of where we are with respect to the mania phase from the prior cycle. You can see, generally speaking, I mean, that the first cycle we went all the way down to about 93% down, and then the cycle after that, on the daily time frame, it was only about 82% down, but it was actually a bit more than that, maybe about 86 or 87%. I think when you look at wicks and whatnot, very similar this cycle over here, and then of course so far we've seen it go down about 75% or so. But again, on a wick, it was actually all the way down to 77% when you compare the highs from 2021. But interestingly enough, what you'll notice in both of these prior moves is you'll sort of see a spike at some point, and it'd be interesting to know if we're sort of forming one of those again, sort of en route, because one of the things you'll notice here in 2015 is there was a spike all the way up to negative 32%. So only down about 32% from the highs before we had a cool off period that lasted, a couple of months or so. And then over here, we had a spike all the way up to about 34% down. And then of course we went into a cool down phase for, actually in that case, it was about 9 months. So you have 32% down and then 34% down. And right now you can actually see we're about 38% down. And the closest it got, I suppose, was right here at around 34 to 35% down. So this might be an interesting thing to sort of continue to watch in the coming months to see if it's just sort of forming a spike into the spot ETF where it gets, a decent way back to that, those prior levels, but it doesn't quite make it there, only for it to then go into a cool off period for a few months, because you can see it really happened both cycles. And of course it's hard to see the spike when you're in it, but again, same thing kind of over here. And 2019 was interesting because, Bitcoin had a very significant rally just before rate cuts arrived. And for those following what the Federal Reserve is doing, they're likely going to start cutting rates. And so it makes you wonder if we're sort of setting up for a very similar outcome again. So that's something to keep an eye on. Just the percent drawdown from the all-time high for Bitcoin. You can also view it for other things as well. I mean, just for reference, here's what it looks like for the total market cap. Not nearly as impressive. Total market cap of crypto, it's still down about 45.5% from the highs. If you were to look at it for Ethereum, it's actually down about 53.87% from the highs. So, I know I've heard a lot of people say that Ethereum is holding up well over the last couple of years against Bitcoin, but it is notable. And and we've talked before about how the Ether Bitcoin pair has been putting in lower highs since the merge. It is notable that Ethereum is down about 54% from the highs, whereas Bitcoin is down about 38% from the highs. So, this is again is proof that Bitcoin has been holding stronger than Ethereum since those highs from 2021. So again, looking at it with Ethereum, this is what it looks like, right? And for the lows that we've previously seen in terms of the drawdown so far, it's about 79% when you're not including the wicks. And then over here it was about 94% or so. But anyways, we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Again, I said we're going to keep this one short and sweet. Maybe the last thing we'll do is apply moving average to it, and it might help visualize some of this stuff. So if you look at like a 30-day SMA of the percent drawdown from the highs, you'll see that in 2016, we sort of went up to about 40% down in terms of a 30-day moving average. 2019, it was about 43% down or so, and right now we're actually sitting around 40% down. So interesting times that we're currently in, and we'll see if there's a cool down period in Bitcoin price action sometime, especially as we get into after the theoretical spot ETF news, whether it sort of finalizes or not. Anyways, if you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up.